From WBBZ-TV Sports, it's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Paul Peck, along with Hall of Fame bowler Sue Novoitsky, and welcome to this special edition of Beat the Champ. We have had a lot of fun over the last 5 years, taking this sport to another level, seeing all the outstanding bowlers in Western New York, and seeing the reaction from the bowling community has been great as well.
Absolutely. There's so many great bowlers in this community that don't do this for a living, but still come out here and perform on the weekends as if they do it for a living. And, and as far as the community goes, I get so much input from everyone, and we have seen so many great matches throughout the years that it's fun to actually look back and see a couple of them from time to time.
All right, so here we go. It's the best of Beat the Champ.
Well, I'm here with our champion, Rob Gatas, and how was that hour-and-a-half trip to come here to Bradford, Pennsylvania?
It was all right.
Yeah. Had to get up early in the morning to get here, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I get here at 7, getting early, get a little practice in.
Did you bowl anything here in between, or you just come here to see what it's all about?
First time I've ever been here. So.
Really? So how do you judge your equipment when you come to a new bowling center like this? How do you judge what to bring? How many balls did you bring today?
5, and just kind of throw them all and see what gives me the best reaction, the best carry, and go from there.
All right, so you're bowling against a bunch of people you've never seen before. Does that change your mindset at all, or is it just about how you and the lanes?
I just focus on myself, just making sure I'm making good shots and staying behind the ball and carrying the corner pins.
All right, still not bowling leagues?
I actually got asked to sub in a league permanently, so now I'm bowling Thursday nights.
All right, good for you. All right, well, bowl well tonight. Let's have some fun.
Thank you.
I'm here with Jeremy Cressley, our hometown Bradford, Pennsylvania bowler. Were you excited to see that Beat the Champ came here?
I was. Paul Geiger, he was fortunate enough to have him have the event here, so I was looking forward to bowling in it.
Were you one of those people that were nudging him to think about having it here?
I've always thought about trying out in Buffalo, so he told me he had the opportunity to have it here, so I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Well, that's awesome of you to support, because you bowl league here as well?
Yes, I do. I work in the pro shop, too, so I have a cot in the corner.
Okay, so we're going to watch you, because you really do have the hometown kind of advantage here, don't you?
Yeah, I've bowled here a couple times in my life, so yeah.
Okay, well, keep up what you do all the time today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
It's Gatas versus Cressley in our first match here at Byllye Lanes in Bradford, Pennsylvania. And Rob Gatas, who comes in on a 4-match winning streak. He was bowling great at Island Lanes, and we saw him 2 weeks ago, Sue. And right now, we'll see if not only a transition to a new house, but a new state, and probably a place he's never been before. We'll see how that affects him in this match against a guy in Jeremy Cressley who bowls here all the time.
Right. I mean, that's the person he's coming up against first, is the person. It's like the least experienced in this bowling center versus the most experienced in this bowling center started out. But, as bowlers, I mean, we kind of just analyze the game as it is and don't really worry about our surroundings too much or getting all, involved in that. So he's just going to do his job.
Well, it didn't seem to bother Rob too much with a strike in the first frame. Jeremy Cressley is from Corry, Pennsylvania, 29 years old. And this is his turf here in Bradford. And he is one of the better bowlers here at Byllye Lanes, and we'll see how he responds to the challenge. We are excited to have, as part of our first match here, special guest, because we thank Pitt Bradford University for being one of the sponsors of our trip down here. Pat France Sircone is the Executive Director of Communications and Marketing. Pat, you got to tell us, is this like a big deal here in Bradford that we're here?
This is pretty exciting. We're really glad that you all are here.
See, look at that. I'm excited, huh? We're actually a big deal somewhere. That's pretty cool.
Oh, no.
Hey, we want to thank you and everybody at the university for being a part of our trip down here. As we watch these guys start to get used to their bowling, tell everybody what Pitt Bradford is all about.
Well, we're a regional campus of the University of Pittsburgh. So that means that students who come to Pitt Bradford get all the advantages of a worldwide, world-renowned research institution on a smaller, more intimate, welcoming, friendly campus. It's a win-win for everybody.
That's great. About how many students do you have here?
We have about 1,400 students.
That's fantastic. Mostly drawn from this sort of area of Pennsylvania?
Actually, no. We have a wide assortment of students from Pennsylvania, from all over Pennsylvania, from all over the United States. We have a student from Alaska, some from Arizona and Florida, and then from several countries worldwide.
That's pretty cool. Alaska of all places.
Of all places,
People
yes.
just want to be here in Bradford, Pennsylvania.
It's a great
don't
place
they?
to be.
That's great. You talked about, as we watch Rob Gatas getting ready for his second frame strike in the first for Rob, you watch Jeremy Cressley go open in the first frame, follow it up with a strike in the second. You talked about it sort of being unique in that it's a smaller campus, smaller class sizes. Is that the advantage that is most popular among your students here?
Everything that I hear from the students, yes. They like having that personalized attention from their professors. They like getting to know their professors, and the professors really enjoy getting to know the students and to helping them succeed.
That's great, fantastic. Here's Rob, trying to finish off a second frame spare, and he's gonna miss it. Missed it there, Sue. Wound up hitting the sideboard before he took the pin out.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ.
Instant replay on Beat the Champ is brought to you by Transit Lanes and Keglers. Join us for bowling, food, and drinks.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
All right, so these guys are starting to find their groove a little bit, Sue. Rob's had a couple strikes in a row. Jeremy's had 3 strikes in a row, as you can see on the Castellone scoreboard. And so a little bit of nerves maybe, and like you said with Jeremy, maybe for Rob, just getting himself figured out here in a new place, but now they're going back to doing what they do well.
Well, here's the thing about bowling. Rob did not miss the pocket and just happened to miss that 10 pin that he didn't carry. And so, his shot is proven to be very good. A little trouble there again with the 10 pin. Jeremy,
go ahead. No, you finish, please.
Jeremy, by nature of missing in the first frame, actually, if you're going to miss, it's a good place to miss because you're not in between spares or strikes, and now he's got an 11-pin advantage.
This is the 5th appearance for Rob Gatas here on Beat the Champ. He has won 4 and lost 2. He lost his first 2, and now he's riding that 4-match winning streak, which included an average overall in those 4 wins at Island Lanes of 245. So he was bowling really, really well over at Mollitz's house, and again, looks like he's got that rolling down here as well too. For Jeremy Cressley, this is his debut on the show.
Right, now we'll talk about ball drilling and ball choices a little bit. Jeremy works in the pro shop, so I'm sure he drills his own equipment, and Rob's ball driller is standing up there on the approach critiquing things, so we've got a little pressure on Rob there because his ball driller is standing right there.
And another nice strike. That's 4 in a row for Jeremy Cressley. Pat, semester is kind of off and rolling here for a couple of months now. What's kind of the buzz on campus as the fall semester of 2018 is going right now?
Well, I don't know. Everybody is, I think, excited and waiting for Thanksgiving break. Mm-hmm. We just passed the midterms, a week or so ago, and so I think the students are looking forward to spending some time with their family and friends, and then getting back and getting the rest of the work done.
What's the mix of students that live on campus and those that make commutes?
Most of our students live on campus. We have some commuters, but we over the years have become a residential university.
That's great.
Oh, that's neat. That's an entirely different vibe. I know that I commuted to school. I went to Buffalo State, and I didn't have the same experience with college as people who get to live on campus
Sure.
and just be a part of everything that goes on.
The Castellone scoreboard shows you that Jeremy Cressley's building himself a nice lead here with 5 consecutive strikes, and Rob Gatas is being pushed and trying his best to push back. That's a 6th frame strike for Rob. Don't forget the top qualifier in the round of 24 for each monthly stop here on Beat the Champ wins a television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Our next stop will be Byllye Lanes up in Lockport. Qualifying is already underway there, so make sure you get on up there and give yourself a chance to take home a television and wind up on our shows at some point early in December.
Right, that's an excellent point. He actually has quite a few qualifiers, including a Wednesday night qualifier for those people who are busy on the weekends. So that show is going to tape December 3rd, already be into the snow and
Oh, probably.
yeah.
Probably. Pat, we think of even those of us in Buffalo think the weather can get pretty nasty down here. Please tell us the truth about what it's going to be like for the next couple of months.
It's going to be fantastic.
If you're a skier, it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
You know, you have to look at the glass half full.
Sure.
When it snows, it's beautiful. We're all, you know, we're a small community, so it's not like we have to commute a far distance to anywhere. So it's a beautiful area.
Do you guys tend to get as much of the snowfall that like in Ellicottville and places that are not too far from here also get, or is the weather a little different?
I'll tell you what, in the last few years, we've been really lucky. We have not gotten what you all have gotten or what they've gotten in Ellicottville. The weather gods have smiled on us.
There you go. See, yeah, Bradford's the place to be, right?
It is definitely the place to be.
All right, we're coming down the stretch here of what's shaping up as a really, really good match between these two guys. They just keep knocking pins down at 7 in a row for Jeremy Cressley, 29 years old. I mentioned from Corry, Pennsylvania, employed at the American Refining as a chemist over at the refinery, which is one of the bigger industries here in the Bradford area. So, Jeremy, you can hear as well, has got a good turnout of his mom, his dad, and his girlfriend Michelle here cheering him on. Rob, meanwhile, 27 years old from Town of Tonawanda, assistant manager at Dash's Market. Oh. That thing just sort of lost its momentum as it got about 3/4 of the way down.
Well, he missed inside of his target quite a bit, so it will hit the oil and kind of stop, but it was already too far in to recover, so that is...
Boy, this is an ugly looking challenge here, isn't it?
Yeah, that's going to put this match out of reach.
So an unfortunate break in the 8th frame for Rob Gatas, and a really difficult spare to have to pick up here is going to seriously allow Jeremy Cressley to take control. So that's an open 9-pin frame in the 8th. And guess what? Jeremy Cressley, without even getting to the 9th frame, has made a debut victory here. Hey, Pat, thank you very much for the time. We wish you guys at Pitt Bradford nothing but the best, and we thank you for helping us bring this event down here to Bradford. We're going to have a number of other folks from the university on throughout the course of the month as well, too. But thank you very much for your time.
Well, great. Thanks for having us.
There we go. Pat France-Circone is the Executive Director of Communications and Marketing at Pitt Bradford, and we thank her for being here to tell us a little bit about what's going on at the university. But what's going on here is a win for Jeremy Cressley, which sets him up for a match 2 battle against Stephanie Tompkins. We'll have that for you when we return. We're in Bradford, Pennsylvania at Byllye Lanes, and we're off and rolling in our Commonwealth Challenge here in Pennsylvania. More Beat the Champ right after this. .236 to 191, our final score as Jeremy Cressley gets the win. Rob, you had come in on a roll after bowling so well at Island, coming to a new place. I don't know that you'd ever been here before. How much of that transition might have been a factor in this first match?
I don't think the place that I was the issue. I just had the wrong ball in my hand. Didn't give me enough room for error, so...
Right, did that missed spare very early on throw you off? No,
because he missed in the first, so I knew, I could still keep it close. It's just the ball I had gave me no room for error. So.
All right, well, see, there you go. We talk so much about the equipment choices can be the key, and that was for you, it was, huh?
Yeah, so you just chalk it up as a learning lesson and move on, so.
All right, well, maybe co-owner here at Byllye Lanes, Jackie Geiger, can give you a little more to go get some more equipment, right?
Yep.
Thanks, Jackie. All right, we're ready for match number 2. We're back with more right after this on Beat the Champ. Thanks, Rob. Good to see you.
Well, this is exciting here at Beat the Champ. We finally have a second woman qualifier representing for us women. What made you come out and bowl?
Actually, Paul Geiger. He asked me if I was going to come out and qualify once up here, and just decided finally I would just wait for the last shift and go for it.
So you just bowled once?
Yep.
That's awesome. And you qualified second overall?
Yes.
Well, that's impressive. I'd love to have that. I'd love to see that as a woman bowler. And nervous against the guys, or do you love bowling against the guys?
I like bowling against the guys. I think they're more nervous bowling against me. If they lose against a woman, it probably gets a lot of razzing later on. So
I completely agree. Well, good luck today, and represent well.
thank you very much.
All right.
So we'll see if Jeremy Cressley can continue to take his home lane advantage into match number 2 against Stephanie Tompkins. We're here at Byllye Lanes in Bradford, Pennsylvania. We are off and rolling. First match out of the way. Cressley with the win. And Jeremy, who is a regular here, try to go for 2 in a row. So here we go. It's the start of our second match here. Let's see if Jeremy can continue. He had that stretch of 7 consecutive strikes in the first match that really put the pressure on Rob Gatas. And as Rob mentioned, it was bad ball choice on his part, but there was also a lot of good bowling from Jeremy Cressley.
Yeah, he shook off those first show nerves very quickly. Just one bad shot in the first frame, and followed up with a whole bunch of strikes. But what's going to happen now is natural transition, which is always a bowler's nemesis. He's already had to move in a little bit, and that changes his angle just a bit left to 10 pin. We'll see how he adjusts to that.
All right, Beat the Champ trivia time. Who is the only man to have bowled a 300 game and be the proprietor and host of a show making its debut in the state of Pennsylvania? It's that guy. It's Paul Geiger. Paul, welcome to the show. Good to have you back on.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Glad you guys are here.
And for those who don't remember, Paul bowled a 300 game earlier in the year, Jamestown, correct?
Yes,
at
back
Jamestown.
in April.
And then that got you the bug to say, boy, I like how this whole thing works,
It all kind of worked out good that day, yeah.
Yeah, so Paul and we already met his wife Jackie, are co-owners here of Byllye Lanes in Bradford. You also own a bowling center in Salamanca as well, too.
Central Lanes in
So
Salamanca.
thanks for bringing us down here. Thanks for being the host. This has been fun.
Like I said, glad you're here. It's been a great event.
So there you get a look at Stephanie Tompkins. She is just the second woman to make our show. This is her debut, obviously. She joins Julie Selk as the only female bowlers to have qualified, and we're excited about that, and I know you are too.
Absolutely. It's nice to see women represent, and there's so much talent in this area for women bowling, and unfortunately, we haven't got to showcase it on Beat the Champ yet. So it's nice to see her bowl.
You know Stephanie pretty well. Paul, tell us about her.
I do, yeah. She bowled really well. She came down last Sunday, shot 7 to make the top 24, and then shot 744 in the round of 9. She was bowling awesome. As you can see, she's still throwing it good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
2 strikes right off the bat. So all of a sudden, Stephanie from Jamestown putting the pressure on Jeremy, who, again, Paul, is somebody that you know pretty well, right? He, I believe you said he may be one of the best bowlers here at Byllye Lanes, right?
He is. There's no doubt about it. He's. I mean, there's a lot of good bowlers here. Jeremy's, he's averaging 230. I think he's 237 last year, so he can throw the ball pretty good.
Yeah, he has great execution.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting how he's a chemist, and his science background, believe it or not, is extremely helpful in bowling.
It is.
It's a lot more physics, a lot more science involved in bowling, and he drills bowling balls as well, so he uses it for that. Way more scientific than you would think.
And did you think that 30 years ago? You did that thought never crossed your mind?
No.
Exactly.
The game has definitely evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, in those days it was top weight and side weight. And
right.
I remember talking to my coach Roy Summer on the phone when I was first learning about bowling balls. And, it was a conversation that took 10, 15 minutes to really explain top weight and side weight. And to all the ball drillers out there, it's become so much more complicated.
It's unbelievable what it's turned into.
So Jeremy able to get a second spare. I'm not sure he has a chemical formulation for that nasty ring 10 that he had on the first throw there. But so all of a sudden a little bit behind the 8 ball as you look at our guest scorekeeper Sue Jeziorski and the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Shows Stephanie with the early advantage after the strikes in the first 2 frames.
It's a testimony to where we come from, because Sue and I have bowled together for years. We grew up keeping score on the telescore units on paper, and then it was all exciting when it went to the yellow pencil and and the light came down on it and reflected onto the boards. You know, nowadays, all the young people have grown up with telescores, and
they don't know how
not
to keep
really
score.
sure
It's
on how it's
unreal.
actually done, because it's been done for them for so many years. So
I think we need a special segment from you here on the show on Sue teaches you how to keep score every week, you know?
Well, I really feel like it should be part of the junior programs right from the get-go, where they bowl for a little while without the telescores and learn how to keep score, a little classroom involved, because, you know, as we're saying, the game is evolved. Like, could we watch a tennis match without knowing how they keep score? And
You couldn't.
there's, you know, it's complicated with the strikes and the spares
It
and
is.
how to add them up, and especially when they start extending.
I think I became a good math student because of bowling, because I was always adding ahead. Hey, this is I can get to 259 if I strike out, or if I can get this if I do that. You know,
Right.
you're adding it right in your head.
Right, and I have to do that. I do that here, you know, to
Right.
watch the matches, because all the telescores add up the strikes differently. Most,
Yeah,
you know, so
yes.
it's not a true plus or minus when you look up at the telescore unit. You really have to do the math in
Right.
your head to know where you're going to be.
Well, Stephanie Tompkins strikes in the first 3 frames as she slides over to lane 19 for frame number 4. Off to a great start. You saw the statistics on her. Worked some data entry at Cummins in the Jamestown area. And boy, that was a good suggestion on your part, Paul, to see if she could get over here and qualify, because things are looking pretty good right now.
Like I said, she hasn't stopped striking since last Sunday.
And she's got to deal with her own little ring 10 there to give her
Still
a first spare opportunity.
A great shot, though, and you know, I question, as we've been doing this now for 3 years, as the champ, you know, you're coming, you know, as the name says, beat the champ. You're coming in to beat the person who, you know, has it all figured out. But as the lanes transition, does the person coming in, because that's what they're seeing for the first time and what they're lining up on, is there a little bit of an advantage to the person coming in? This looks like a good time to take a break. We'll be back with more Beat the Champ right after this. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
Hey, Paul, you mentioned Brandon Miller. Our next bowler is a guy that bowls regularly at your other house,
He bowls in
Central
Salamanca.
Lanes in Salamanca.
Yes, every
Tell everybody
Friday.
what the challenge and the is for owning 2 bowling centers. Not all that far apart, but owning 2 and juggling your time.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a challenge, Paul, but we get by. Luckily, I got a good partner, my wife there, that she spends a lot of her time over at Central Lanes in Salamanca, as do I, and I'm here quite a bit over here too. So every day is a challenge, but we get through it. We signed up for it, so
You knew what you were getting into,
exactly.
right?
Do you bowl league in any of the houses?
Yeah, oh yeah. I bowl league in both places. Yeah, it's just one of them things there. You got to be seen.
Right.
Don't forget, the top qualifier every month in our round of 24 wins a television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Our sponsors up in Buffalo, and Brandon Miller was one of those guys that won a TV. How'd the qualifying go down here? You had a lot of opportunities, which was smart to give people from Buffalo the chance to get down here when they could.
We did. It went pretty good. I was obviously, I'm always highly optimistic, so I was expecting, you know, a really good number. I mean, 97, they tell me, is not terrible. We can always build off that. So hopefully,
I think for
next
your
year,
first shot out,
yeah.
An hour and a half away from our
Yep.
main base, to have almost 100 bowlers is pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So that's a spare for Jeremy Cressley in the 6th.
He's down 45 though. That's
Yeah, he's only had 1 strike so far, as you can see on the Castellone
Right.
scoreboard, and he's kind of hanging in there and putting a little bit of the pressure on Stephanie. So
You know, we were watching him in practice, and as Paul alluded to earlier, he was striking. His last shot left that 2-pin, just like we saw in the right lane. And I think it's just kind of got into his head a little bit.
That's a big one. That's a big strike for him.
And you know this too. If you miss a couple spares, you're thinking about that too.
Yep.
And now he knows he pretty much needs to go off the sheet to have any chance.
Absolutely. He's looking at a score of, if he goes off the sheet, of 213. So that's his highest optimum. And she's going you know, she's pacing more than that now. So he's got his work cut out for him.
Oh, little wobble, but that 4-pin will not
See that
go
lane's
down.
changing for her now too. That's two in a row that came a little high.
She's got that roll though that actually buys her a little bit of room.
Correct.
And that down and in game with, but she's got good rotation on her ball. She's got that rotation that will trip fours.
Right.
And break up splits.
Right.
And that's a unique roll that, you know.
It's a good one to have.
Right. Like Liz Johnson kind of has something similar to that where it rolls heavy and they break up the splits, and that's a big deal.
It is.
Stephanie will have the chance, and if she continues to bowl well in this match, to be our first winner, female winner here on the show. We mentioned she's just the second, joining Julie Selk as the only two females to qualify for the show, but Julie was not able to win, so that's what's in front of Stephanie right now. And that's great because you and I have talked an awful lot about wanting to get more. You, as well as anybody, knows how good female bowlers are in Western New York, and we want to get more of them on the show.
Absolutely.
And they always had that opportunity of getting into one of the qualifying spots for the roll-off as well, too.
And we're going through a little bit of a busy time for the women in Buffalo now because a lot of our women bowlers from Buffalo have gotten into coaching colleges. You know, Sue's coaching at UVille. Carrie Raxenberger's coaching Madai. Peggy's her assistant coach. So that'll mean weekend tournaments and not the ability to come try out for the show. So
strike from Jeremy in the 8th frame. Yeah, I know Sue is very excited about getting the bowling program up and running at the UVille and starting to to be able to compete with all the other Western New York schools, like you mentioned, Madai and Villa Maria and all the other ones. Jack is there, sure.
And that's going to say a lot for the strength of women bowling, though, in Western New York, is having these really knowledgeable coaches. And I might put a few words into these girls to say, let's get these girls to the show.
Sure.
They're all old enough to start bowling. I guess if it's NCAA, though, they're not going to be able to bowl for money. So that might be something we have to look at, maybe some kind of scholarship thing.
Right.
3 strikes in a row for Jeremy Cressley as he's putting the pressure again on Stephanie Tompkins, but Stephanie still with a nice lead here after she had a nice strike in the 8th. So let's see how strong she can finish. An opportunity to clinch this victory here before she even gives Jeremy the chance to stand back up again.
She's got to make a little move on this lane because she's 4-pinned on it twice, which means she's come up a little bit high.
She did.
This time it's the 6-pin that won't go down.
And that almost looked very like a slower ball speed.
Yeah.
I think she...
it had to be because it looked like she moved on a lane
Yeah,
to me.
she moved on the lane, but her ball speed wasn't what it has been.
Yeah, a little.
You're exactly right.
15 and a half miles per hour according,
Right.
according to the scoreboard.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that too.
Yeah, not only did Stephanie bowl well enough to be our second qualifier and make the show, but you had some other female bowlers that were outstanding in the qualifying.
Yeah, Sarah Foley is a regular bowler here. She actually coaches the Pitt girls bowling team, and she shot 720 in the qualifier, and then she had to, unfortunately, had to have knee surgery, so she's done for the year. But yeah, she bowled well. It would have been another good one to have on here.
Did she make it to the finals?
She made the cut, and then she couldn't do the top 24. Her surgery was last Thursday.
So she knew that she had the upcoming surgery?
They kind of pushed it ahead.
Big strike in the 9th frame for Stephanie Tompkins. Correction, that was a spare in the 9th and a strike in the 10th.
Right, and that is going to shut out Jeremy. She needed to do that to shut him out. Because the best he can do is 211, and she's looking at, even with a spare, she's looking at 218 here. So
there you go. It's our first female winner here on Beat the Champ, and that's Stephanie Tompkins from Jamestown. And boy, she is bowling great. And might not be the first win for her the way she's going, but we do know that she will advance on here and come up with a victory over Jeremy Cressley and move on to our 3rd match of the day. We will talk to Jeremy and get you ready for that match when we return. Hey, Paul, thanks for a couple of minutes, and thanks for being a great host so far.
Not a problem, Paul. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it's just exciting you guys are here.
Paul Geiger from right here, co-owner of Byllye Lanes. We'll wrap this up. We'll be back right after this on Beat the Champ. Well, after a win in the first match, Jeremy Cressley runs into a very tough competitor in Stephanie Tompkins. You started off kind of rough. Did that put you too far behind?
Yeah, I mean, Stephanie threw the ball well, so it's never good to fall behind early, especially when somebody like that.
Right. Well, you are probably as good an expert on what it's like to bowl here at Byllye Lanes. So what kind of advice do you have for Stephanie and all the rest of the bowlers coming up?
She's in the right spot on the lane. She's going to be hard to beat because she's not going to beat herself, so I'm looking forward to seeing how far she can go. I think the guys are going to have their hands full today. I really do.
Yeah, well said, and I think it's going to be awfully fun to watch. Jackie?
Congratulations, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thanks for bowling.
Yep.
There you go. Jackie Geiger, one of our co-owners here at Byllye Lanes, giving out the prize money to Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for having us here. Thanks for being a good bowler to get things going. We got a good third match coming up. It's Stephanie Tompkins and Brandon Miller. It's right after this on Beat the Champ.
I'm here with Brandon Miller, one of our qualifiers today for Beat the Champ in Bradford, Pennsylvania. So you are a New York guy from Jamestown. We've seen you before. You bowled your son on TV, correct?
Yes, and got beat.
So he did not make this show, so you're on your own this time to represent?
Yes.
And have you seen these lanes before? Have you bowled in Bradford, Pennsylvania before?
Just in tournaments mainly. But it's a nice house. It's real nice.
Did you find the shot similar in qualifying than that you had in tournaments, or is it just a new ball game?
No, normally they put a sport shot out for their tournament, so their house shot is really real smooth.
Well, you bowled really well, and we wish you luck today.
Okay, thank you.
So Stephanie Tompkins will try to keep it going and keep it rolling against Brandon Miller in our third match of the day from here at Byllye Lanes in Bradford, Pennsylvania. And very impressive watching Stephanie with that 228 to 191 victory.
Finally, a lady champ. You gotta love it. And she's playing the lanes right too. I mean, this isn't a male-female thing, really. I mean, it's about lining up, and she's playing the lanes the right way, down and in. She's got good rotation, so she's able to break things up even when she goes a little high. And that's a perfect example right there. That's kind of in the 4-9 fell late because the ball hit a little high flush, but she has that roll that breaks that up.
Is it any different for you to analyze a female bowler than it is a male bowler?
Probably a little easier.
Yeah?
Because it's more familiar. I think like in any sport, women are so fundamentally correct, where men can get away with it because they have more power. Women have to really have strong fundamentals.
And this is Brandon Miller. It's his second appearance here on Beat the Champ. 1 win and 1 loss, but a memorable 1 appearance because, as we mentioned in our last match with Paul Geiger, the co-owner here at Byllye Lanes, it was Brandon that beat Paul right after Paul bowled the 300 game, and then by winning that match, that set up Brandon versus his son, Brent, in what was the first father versus son match we've had here. And Brent came up with the win, and you saw the missed spare opportunity, and Brandon Miller watches and kind of figures out what went wrong there as his son Brent kind of wondering, Dad, what are you doing there? You got to make those spares, right? But that was fun to see, Dad versus son, back in Jamestown in May when Brent beat Dad Brandon.
Right, and I had to run out because I was driving to New York to Poughkeepsie for our state tournament, so I never got to see that match really, but you know, that would have been exciting, I'm sure. Cool. I'm sorry.
It was really fun. All right, so we saw in that last one that Brandon never got that ball to hook and completely missed the pocket. So what might be going on here for him?
Well, as we saw, he's playing the lanes a little bit more like Jeremy played the lanes. And as Jeremy went on, he moved in, and when you move in, you're going to hit that little bit of oil on your outside. Same thing happened to him where Jeremy started leaving 2 pins. This is the same thing going on here. So you'll see Stephanie's more down and in. She's playing the lanes more right to left. and getting a little bit more consistent ball reaction than as these guys get pushed in and have to open up the lane more. So it has to definitely do with where they are hitting the oil pattern.
Second frame now for Stephanie Tompkins. Yeah, that one seemed to lose a little steam, less than 15 miles per hour as it headed down the lane. So
Right.
she'll look at the 4 and 7 to have to pick up for the spare here.
And there's two reasons why it would lose steam. And I think the reasoning, because we said this the last time she was on this lane, the reasoning is she's hitting the dry and the ball is actually slowing down. So what I'm noticing, what she's doing, she's moving her feet left the way she's supposed to, but she's not moving her target in. As bowlers, when your ball starts to go high like that, like we're watching the ball start to go high for her, you have to move everything in. So she's still hitting the same target, even though her feet are deeper, and that target is really, the lane is just too dry there. So the ball's still snapping up a little bit too high. We're gonna have to watch her move her target into more like the second arrow, 11, 12, that needs to be her target now. Her feet are in the right place, but her eyes are still too far to the right. So we'll watch as she goes along and see that she makes the right adjustments.
That's awesome analysis, by the way. That is really cool to hear you break it down that way.
Well, like you said, it's easier for me to really break down a girl's game because it's very much about fundamentals.
Brandon Miller is 42 years old. He's from Jamestown, New York, a machine operator at SKF, 225 average. Bowls regularly at the Jamestown Bowling Company and at Central Lanes in Salamanca. And there's the first strike for Brandon Miller.
And actually, he hit exactly what we're saying. He was in that 11th board, and even though he's hitting it different, the break point is still be the same for the two of them. So she's getting there a different way than he is, but you're still playing the same part of the lane past the arrows. It's just how you get there. So that was a perfect shot by him. This lane still might be a little bit tighter. 19 might be a little bit tighter.
Fourth frame.
Good shot.
2 in a row for Brandon Miller.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute.
Instant replay on Beat the Champ is brought to you by Transit Lanes and Keglers. Join us for bowling, food, and drinks.
Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
You don't want to be the guy that
Did you
lost.
enjoy that? You enjoy, particularly as good as you are, knowing that I'm going to beat this guy. He doesn't think I'm that good, or he doesn't think he's gonna lose to me.
My ship has kind of sailed on that. I'm too well known in our area for.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But
now it's nobody. No one wants to lose to the Beat the Champ analyst. And there's a good strike for Brandon. He needed that in the 8th frame.
You know, it's kind of funny in league bowling. I will get comments from the other team. It's like, oh, now you're going to analyze my bowling, or, I think that there's people who haven't seen me bowl that are like, well, she talks about bowling a lot. Let's see if she can really bowl or not. So it's kind of changes the dynamics in my leagues.
Don't forget, we've got qualifying is already underway for next month's Beat the Champ at Brad Angelo Lanes in Lockport. The top qualifier in the round of 24 wins a television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Brandon Miller won one of the TVs that was available down here in Bradford. That's a tough break for Stephanie in the 8th frame.
Yeah, that one got to the right on her, and she needs to keep that ball right to left and not rely on it to recover by missing to the right. And that was the result of that. Normally is from fast feet. When the ball slips off to the right on you, right of your target, it's normal because you've gotten a little quick, and she might have a little, little nerves going on. Like, it's exciting and a little adrenaline.
Well,
wow.
Oh, how about that?
Now she got a messenger that came over. That's not the normal way to get it, but it's one way.
So a little dramatic moment there, and maybe things are really lining up for Stephanie Tompkins here when you get a shot like that.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because although this is a game of a very mental game, it's a game of breaks as well. And to be honest with you, Brandon made 2 really good shots, and that ring 10 over on lane 20 was, I'm going to say a bad break. And the pin that he left over on 19 was also a bad break.
Perfect, right in dead on into the pocket, and another strike for Stephanie. And that's the momentum and the adrenaline of getting that lucky break that rolls you right into the next frame.
But he can actually throw all 4 here, or throw the next 3 and 9 to tie, but he can throw all 4 here and shut her out. He's got that 1 pin advantage if he strikes. There's that 10 pin again.
Tough break. Very tough.
Oh, this is a great match. This is going to go right down to the 10th frame. There's no predicting this one.
Winner of this match will come back for next week's show and face the opportunity to go up against 3 new bowlers, starting with a perpetual winner here on our show, which is Andy Reddig. He'll be the first bowler off in next week's show against the winner of this match.
And again, I think this happened the last time that he bowled his last TV show, where he was the first left-hander that we saw for the day, so he starts off with fresh condition, and that can be an advantage, that can be a disadvantage.
10th frame, Brandon needs a bunch of strikes here.
Wow, he kept that one in. Boy, what an adjustment. So he's not even messing around trying to use the boards that hook, the dryer boards. That one he kept right in, straight up 15, almost a rocket to the pocket. Speaking of which, we have Robert Rob coming up next week.
Coming up. Yes, he is. Our buddy Rocket Rob Piccoli will be in next week's show as well. There's another one. I love it when these bowlers answer the bell. They know that I need to get 3 strikes here, and I'm going to do it.
Did you see his face? He knew that was very different from the first one that struck. That one, a little more finesse. That one was a little bit more to the right.
All right, so one more here will post a really nice score that Stephanie will have to beat. Let's see Brandon can finish strong.
All right,
You bet he can. So it's a 217 posted for Brandon Miller. What a late match run for him. So what does Miss Tompkins need to win here in the 10th frame?
She needs the first strike, and she needs decent count on her second ball, but she cannot win without this first strike. So his count was very important. That made her have to strike on this shot. Oh, very slow.
It will not happen. So some late match struggles for Stephanie Tompkins, and a pretty impressive late kick for Brandon Miller is going to send Brandon Miller off to next week's show. So still, that takes nothing away from seeing Stephanie become our first female victor here on the show, and she really is fun to watch.
She was. She did a great job.
So it's a win for Brandon Miller. We'll talk to both bowlers and get you ready for our second week stop here in Bradford, Pennsylvania. When Sue and I return, we're at Byllye Lanes in Bradford, PA, and you're watching Beat the Champ. Great match to wrap up week number 1 here in Bradford between Brandon Miller and Stephanie Tompkins. A couple of things happened to you late in the match, right,
yeah.
Stephanie?
Yep, just got a little slow, I think, on that last shot, and got outside a couple times, just didn't hit my mark.
Well, regardless of that, you become our first female winner here on Beat the Champ, and that goes down in the history books. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Did you like the opportunity? Did you feel good about bowling here on the show?
Yeah, I really like Bradford. I like to be able to swing the ball a little bit more, so it's nice.
All right, I know, Jackie, you like hearing that, don't you?
I like hearing that a lot, yes. Always.
Very good. Well, Brandon Miller, Sue's our winner.
Yeah, Brandon, that was such an exciting match, and you knew what you had to do going in, and striking out in the 10th like that. How did you approach the lanes?
Practice lanes were about the same. It just carry. The shot's consistent all the way around the house here. getting your carry.
Did the right lane break down a little bit more than the left lane?
Yes, it did. So you had to just hope and pray.
Okay, well, you got up on the lane that didn't break down, so you think that's an advantage when you finished on the lane that actually stayed more consistent?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, I knew I had to put something up there for her to get pressure, but she can usually perform, so I knew it wasn't going to be easy. So
all right, well, you definitely put her up to the challenge, and you did well there and got the carry, so good luck to you going forward.
thank you.
Yep, Brandon Miller's first win over someone that didn't bowl a 300 the match before and doesn't own 2 bowling centers, of which one of them we're at right now. So Brandon's coming back. He'll face another challenger, Sue and I, with our other special guest, Sue. We'll get you ready for next week's show when we return to Bradford, PA. Well, these bowlers were far from the Keystone Cops down here in Pennsylvania. You like that? I've been working on that one. What a good start here to our month-long stay in Bradford.
Yep, I knew it was going to be interesting, but it actually turned out to be a lot more interesting, and I thought it was a great performance by everybody that made the show, and truthfully, anyone could have won and came out the victor, and Brandon just came out by striking out in the 10th, came out with the best scores.
All right, Sue Jezierski, you had the best spot in the house here. What'd you think of our bowlers here in week 1?
I thought they were awesome, especially just coming out for the first time bowling on TV, and they did a great job. Stephanie was amazing, so
yes, she was.
Very cool to watch a female come out and kick a little butt.
All right, well, there you go. We have crossed state lines for the first time, and we are off to a roaring start here in our second state of Beat the Champ. Make sure you're back for our second week. We return to Bradford, and we'll see you then on Beat the Champ.